Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing great. Happy Wednesday. We got 13 matchups on this NBA slate today, so go ahead and like and subscribe. Check out all my links in the description below. Go ahead and sign up with ParlayPlay, guys. They do have a Thanksgiving NFL free contest, biggest so far of the season, $250 in free prizes, guys. Totally free to join, so go ahead and hop in there. You'll get $10 risk-free just for signing up to use to be able to use this week for sure, and get a 100% match on your initial deposit. So yeah, go ahead and sign up in the link below, guys. Super fun. Definitely hop in that Thanksgiving tournament and try and take home that Thanksgiving prize. So yeah, we'll hop into it. Very busy slate today. 13 matchups, starting with the Phoenix Suns versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Suns opening up as 7-point favorites with the over-under at 209. The last 10 head-to-head, Cleveland 6-4, 6-4 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is 6-4 as well. Phoenix currently 14-2 as the favorite. Not much to say about Phoenix. I mean, God, they're playing amazing basketball. Undefeated, what are they on, a 10-game winning streak? I mean, it's unbelievable what Phoenix is doing. Cleveland on a 4-game losing streak. Had a tough stretch playing Boston, Brooklyn twice, and Golden State. Now they got to play this Phoenix team. Yeah, going to be tough for Cleveland here. They have been a good cover team this season. Don't know how much I trust Cleveland in this matchup here. Cleveland 1-4 in their last 5. Phoenix just playing great basketball. Not much to say. Only a 7-point spread. I think that's a really good spot. If it were over 10 points, I'd probably lean Cleveland, but 7, I think, is a good spot. Gonna roll with the Suns here, and definitely add them to your parlays. Next matchup, we have the Brooklyn Nets versus the Boston Celtics. Both teams opening up as a pick'em at -110 or even odds, with the over-under at 216. The last 10 head-to-head, Brooklyn 8-2. 8-2 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is split down the middle, 5-5. Brooklyn 8-2 in their last 10. Boston 7-3 in their last 10. Both teams playing really good in this little 10-game stretch they're on. Brooklyn 7-1 in their last 8 against Boston. 7-1 covering against Boston. Boston 5-0 at home. 8-3 covering in their last 11. I mean, both teams are just playing really great. They really are. I'm leaning with the talent in the Nets with the even spread in a pick'em. I trust Brooklyn, barring any crazy injuries. As long as Durant and Harden are playing, that's good enough for me in a pick'em scenario to take the Nets. Next matchup, we have the Detroit Pistons versus the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks opening up as 14-point favorites with the over-under at 214.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Milwaukee is dominating 10-0, 8-2 covering in those 10. The over-under in this series is 7-3. Detroit 3-7 in their last 10. Milwaukee 5-5 in their last 10. Milwaukee coming off a 123-92 win over Orlando. Back-to-back wins over Orlando. In the last game, it was very crazy. Milwaukee was up like 50 points going into the fourth quarter, which was absolutely insane. Yeah, this Detroit team been playing awful. 14 points, I know, is a lot. I'm not sure I want to take that Detroit journey with the 14. Seeing how Milwaukee's now they've had Middleton back. They've been just dominating teams on the stretch they're on. Yeah, I like Milwaukee to beat this Pistons team pretty bad. Gonna roll with the Bucks. Next matchup, we have the Atlanta Hawks versus the San Antonio Spurs. Hawks opening up as 4-point favorites with the over-under at 221.5. The last 10 head-to-head, both teams 5-5. Atlanta is 6-4 covering in those 10 matchups. The over-under in this series is split in the middle, 5-5. Atlanta 5-5 in their last 10. on a 5-game win streak. Spurs 2-8 in their last 10. They have not been playing good. Atlanta 4-1 covering against the Spurs. I like the Hawks here. They're on a nice little win streak. Spurs kind of trending in the opposite direction on a 5-game losing streak. Spurs team not looking very good here. Yeah, we're going to roll with the Hawks. Next matchup, we have the Portland Trailblazers versus the Sacramento Kings. Portland opening up as 2.5-point favorites with the over-under at 224. The last 10 head-to-head, Portland 6-4, 5-5 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is 7-3. Portland 6-4 in their last 10. Sacramento 2-8 in their last 10. Yeah, rolling with Portland here. The Sacramento team's been just awful. That's really it's as simple as that. On a 4-game losing streak, not playing good. Portland 3-game winning streak, playing good basketball here. Well, actually, they are playing Denver as I'm recording. We'll see if they're still 3-4, but nonetheless, the much better team in this matchup on a small spread. Gonna roll with the Blazers. All right, next matchup, we have the Washington Wizards versus the New Orleans Pelicans. Wizards opening up as 3.5-point favorites with the over-under at 208.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Washington 7-3. 7-3 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is just 3-7. Washington 6-4 in their last 10. Pelicans 2-8 in their last 10. Washington 10-3 covering against the Pelicans. 15-4 in their last 19 against New Orleans. Yeah, this New Orleans team is just very bad here. Only a 3.5-point spread with this Wizards team that's actually playing really good basketball here. Yeah, we're going to roll with the Wizards. Next matchup, we have the Miami Heat versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Heat opening up as 2-point favorites with the over-under at 213.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Minnesota 6-4. 4-2 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is 9-1. Miami 5-5 in their last 10. Minnesota 6-4 in their last 10. Minnesota currently on a 4-game winning streak, playing pretty decent basketball. Heat 5-1 in their last 6. A pretty small spread here. Not much, no really injured news to report here. Maybe this line moves a little bit, but hard to trust Timberwolves plus a bucket here. I think definitely going to roll with the Heat in this matchup. All right, next matchup, we have the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Indiana Pacers. Pacers opening up as 1.5-point favorites with the over-under at 219.5. The last 10 head-to-head, both teams are 5-5. And 5-5 covering in those 10 matchups. The over-under in this series is 4-6. Lakers should be getting LeBron back after serving that 1-game suspension. Lakers 0-5 covering against Indiana. 1-4 in their last 5 against Indiana. Pacers 5-0 covering at home against the Lakers. 11-2 covering at home here. Yeah, if LeBron comes back, I just think this is only a 1.5-point spread. I mean, I feel like I trust the Lakers more on on the plus side here than I do the Pacers, especially if LeBron plays. Yeah, we'll take the Lakers plus 1.5 here. Next matchup, we have the Chicago Bulls versus the Houston Rockets. Bulls opening up as 8.5-point favorites with the over-under at 214. The last 10 head-to-head, Houston 7-3. Both teams 5-5 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is 4-6. Chicago, I see Vooch is questionable. He could make his return Wednesday. We'll see. Chicago 6-4 in their last 10. Houston 0-10 in their last 10. On a 15-game losing streak, 0-5 covering in their last 5 here. Really no confidence in this Rockets team. I mean, how can you? 8.5 point spread. We're going to roll with the Bulls. Next matchup, we have the Toronto Raptors versus the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies opening up as 4.5 point favorites with the over-under at 218.5. The last 10 head-to-head, the Raptors 8-2. 8-2 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is 4-5-1. Toronto just 3-7 in their last 10. Memphis 5-5 in their last 10. Toronto 8-1 covering against Memphis. I mean, neither team's been that, been too impressive. Memphis is 3-1 in their last 4. They actually have been pretty decent in their last 4 or 5 games here. Memphis 5-2 covering at home. For some reason, though, Toronto, they've just dominated the head-to-head matchup here. Despite Toronto playing bad here, they've looked good against Memphis. 6-1 in their last 7 against Memphis. 4-1 covering on the road against Memphis here. Yeah, we're going to take Toronto plus the points here. They've surprisingly been great against Memphis, and we'll see if it continues here. We'll take the Raptors plus the points. Next matchup, we have the Utah Jazz versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Jazz opening up as 12.5 point favorites with the over-under at 210.5. The last 10 head-to-head, both teams 5-5. OKC 7-3 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is just 2-8. Utah 5-5 in their last 10. OKC 5-5 in their last 10 as well. Utah 4-1 in their last 5 against OKC. But weird enough, Utah is just 3-17 on the road against the Thunder. The Thunder 9-2 covering in their last 11 games. They are given double digits all the time, and they do nothing but just cover. It's kind of insane, honestly. I do like the Jazz to win this one, but 12.5, 13 points, gonna roll with the Thunder. They just really like to keep things close and kind of just cover. I mean, the last 2 out of their last 3 games, last game they were 13-point favorites, lost by 11, or lost by 12. Either way, that's a cover. Then against Milwaukee, they were 13-point favorites, lost by 7. I mean, the last 2 times they've been 13-point favorites they've covered in the last week. Yeah, we'll take the Thunder plus the points here. Next matchup, we have the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors opening up as 10.5 point favorites with the over-under at 213.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Golden State 7-3. Philly 6-4 covering in those 10 matchups. The over-under in this series is just 4-6. Philly 4-6 in their last 10. Golden State 9-1 in their last 10. Philly 3-13 against Golden State. 2-7 on the road against Golden State here. Golden State 7-1 covering in their last 8 games. I mean, this Warriors team is just playing just amazing basketball. Going to be no Iguodala, but as long as there's Curry and Draymond, I mean, you got to roll with this hot Warriors team. They're just playing lights out basketball, and it'd kind of be hard to bet against the Warriors here. We'll take the Warriors in this one. And then the last matchup, we have the Charlotte Hornets versus the Orlando Magic. The Hornets opening up as 8-point favorites with the over-under at 214. The last 10 head-to-head, both teams 5-5. It's pretty split down the middle. Both teams are covering evenly. The over-under in this series is 7-3. Charlotte 6-4 in their last 10. Orlando just 2-8 in their last 10. Charlotte 8-2 on the road against Orlando. 13-6 covering against the Magic here. Rolling with the Hornets. Just no faith in this Magic team. Not going to do it. We're going to roll with the Hornets. And that's going to be it for the video. Good luck with your picks and parlays on Wednesday. And I'll see you guys Thursday. Have a good one.